On the show, in wheel spin, we drive the Lamborghini Aventador. On the launch pad, Maruti Suzuki launches the Ciaz diesel hybrid, and Mercedes-Benz brings in another AMG model, the C63 AMG. Quicker Car presents the Auto Guide. On the road, we drive the Fiat Aventura to Yercaud. There are fast cars, very fast cars, and some insanely fast cars. And the one we drive today is just that. What I'm driving today is a car which is a perfect example of Italian design flair and engineering skills. A supercar which is really becoming popular the world over with its wedgy design and unmistakable shape, which of course turns heads no matter where you drive her, and a powerful V12 engine tucked in the rear. A car called the Lamborghini Aventador. The Aventador, like many other Lamborghinis, is named after a fighting bull. And this one, called the Aventador, had the reputation of being a very valiant bull fighting in a ring in Saragossa. And now this, the four-wheel namesake, is actually no less when it comes down to the pick of supercars. The Aventador in recent times had made strong claims of being the best supercar of her times. The Aventador was launched in 2011 and it is the biggest, meanest Lamborghini that is currently on offer from the House of the Raging Bull in Santa Gata, and it is one car which lives happily with the tag of being born a Lamborghini. Fast and furious, this is a car which needs some taming before you actually get to push her. Designed by a team under Filippo Perini, the current chief designer at Lamborghini, this is a quintessential Lambo. Wedgy, angular with wide flanks in the rear, a low squatting stance and big air scoops on the side for the big engine to suck in dollops of air. The Aventador is what defines a supercar today. Fast, powerful, with looks that defies anyone to look away. The Aventador sure is a crowd stopper. Lamborghini Aventador here is powered by a massive 6.5-litre V12 which churns out 700 brake horsepower and gets to the 100-kilometer mark in just 2.9 seconds with a top speed of 350 kilometers. In fact, all this blah blah that I'm doing to you, rattling off facts and figures, would have got me to well over 300 kilometers if instead of talking I had just put my right foot down on the accelerator pedal. And that seems like a good idea. I think I'm going to do just that and time to go. The engine here is mated to a 7-speed ISR, what they call the independent shift rod transmission. And Lamborghini calls it an emotional gearbox, which means that you can actually hear the gears shifting every time you accelerate hard. In fact, it does feel good, I must say. The transmission, as to be expected, comes with both the automatic as well as a manual mode. But the shifting is what makes it so much fun. Every time it downshifts or upshifts, you can hear her. And that's very emotional. The sound of the engine going, and then it slows down as the revs come down. It's really nice. And of course, I am partial to mid-engine cars because you really hear the beautiful music coming from right here every time you pedal her. You really can't match a mid-engine car in terms of the audio performance, I can tell you. See what I mean? What I like most about mid-engine cars is they are nicely distributed in terms of weight, so there is very little oversteer or understeer. But of course, in a car like this with so much power being fed to the rear wheels, you are bound to have some amount of oversteer, especially if you switch off the traction control. But the traction control is what keeps it nice and easy and all under control and very civilized, in fact. Like in every other supercar, this Aventador also comes with 3 different driving modes. The Strada for the regular road use, and then you got the Sport for somewhat spirited driving, and if you really want to go flat out, then you have the Corsa, which means the racetrack mode. I think the engine produces plenty of juice, and if you really were to try out the Corsa mode or the racetrack mode, you should find yourself a racetrack. I don't think the roads are a safe bet for this kind of driving. The Aventador uses 19-inch rims in the front and 20-inch alloys with 335mm fat rubbers for fat tires to translate all the power into proper road grip. And for stopping, it uses ceramic brakes with 6-cylinder calipers in the front. The Aventador comes with an all-wheel drive and a host of active safety features like adjustable ESP, ABS, hill assist and 6 airbags, with an electronically controlled spoiler in the rear to increase the aerodynamic efficiency. If you happen to step inside the interiors of this Aventador, initially you might mistake it for the interiors of a premium luxury car because it's got everything that a top-notch luxury car should have or does have. Leather, good quality, that too, with hand stitching on it, a small steering wheel here which is leather wrapped, of course, with multifunction buttons on it, and a touch of chrome garnishing all over. It also comes with a large center display which of course houses the reverse camera, so you can park quite comfortably. In fact, this also comes with a high-powered stereo system, and this kind of baffles me. What's the stereo system doing in a sports car, and that too which is mid-engine? In fact, it makes me wonder what are really things coming to these days. In fact, when you look at the instrumentation here, you'll be quite happy to see what it shows you. It's large dial, it's quite easy to read, and the center pod here gives you a combination of analog and digital readouts. The analog shows you the rev meter and the digital gives you the speed, and in fact it's so easy to read that even while you're driving at completely illegal speeds, one look down and you know exactly what you are doing. So if the cop stops you, there's no way you are going to tell him you didn't know how much you were doing. Overall, the interiors are quite nicely designed and very pleasant too. It's quite ergonomically designed, in fact, with everything pretty much at your fingertips. Initially, it might baffle you because you have a number of buttons here and it might take a bit of time to figure out what all these are for. In fact, a cockpit of a smaller plane might be a little less sophisticated than what you get in here. In spite of the fact that the seating position is quite low, it is still a car which offers a comfortable driving position, with seats that hug you tight around a fast corner and a steering wheel which is adjustable for height, and the gullwing doors add that very special touch for visual effects. Sitting on a wheelbase of over 2.7 meters, of which more than half is eaten away by the engine bay, and measuring over 4.7 meters. The Aventador is in fact a big car and quite wide as well. And the generous dose of carbon fiber used in the construction of the body has kept the weight down to the minimum while pushing the cost up. But then for millionaires who buy Lamborghinis, cost is hardly a consideration. The Aventador here is kind of stuff that dreams are really made of. If you're looking to buy a supercar, this kind of sits on top of the heap today. It's got everything that you need in a supercar. Plenty of power, great handling, all the luxuries tucked inside. And in terms of looks, I think she is really one of the best looking ones in the market today. But to buy this, you need a lot of green stuff. And that's where it stops people from acquiring one and parking one in their garage. But then the gods, they smile on you. Maybe one day you will have plenty of moolah to buy this one. Until that happens, at least I got one of these Aventadors. And while you hope and dream, I'm going to go and take her for another long, hard ride. The Aventador is priced at a hopping rupees 5 crores in India. But if you're a driver who likes things fast and furious, then this is something which will please you immensely. Lamborghini has 3 outlets in India, so it is possible to buy one as well as get it serviced as long as you're willing to pay for it. Maruti Suzuki this week launched the hybrid version of the Ciaz to give a boost to the efforts of going green and bringing down automotive pollution, as well as bringing down the fuel bill for consumers. The hybrid Ciaz will be the first diesel hybrid in this segment in the country, and what it will offer customers is features like start-stop, which will stop the motor when it's idling while waiting at a traffic light, or even in our stop-and-go city traffic, thus bringing down both the pollution as well as the fuel bill. And it's the fuel consumption which is something which is going to please many a user of this hybrid Ciaz, as the company claims it has a fuel efficiency of 28.07 kilometers to every litre of diesel it consumes. And this is something which will spell economy, more so as the Ciaz is a reasonably big and spacious car. The Ciaz hybrid pricing starts at Rs. 8 lakhs. The latest armour in the Mercedes armoury in India is the C63 AMG, which they unleashed this week for the Indian customers. This baby Mercedes is not only one of the smallest sedans on sale in India from Mercedes, but also one of the meanest. A car which sets the pulse racing the moment you step on the gas pedal. And this is something we found out some months ago when we got our first taste of what she is capable of. The 4-litre V8 tucked inside a compact hood churns out a massive 500 plus horsepower and gallops to the 100-kilometer mark in just 4 seconds. Something that will immensely please you if you find yourself behind the wheels, while giving other drivers a bit of a bruised ego as you effortlessly pass them. The C63 AMG, in case you like it, is available from this week, and you will have to pay Rs. 1.30 crores to park her in your garage. We always told you performance cost, and the C63 AMG is an example, fast and expensive.
We have a question from Junaid Khwaja, who lives in Kochi. He would like to buy a second-hand car after inspecting it thoroughly, so he's looking for a seller from the same city. Junaid, your answer is Quicker Cars, a hyper-local platform which has a city select option on the home page where it automatically finds sellers near you. See the most popular car in your cities and also find out which cars and bikes have been posted recently by sellers. The Quicker app has car ads from 1,000+ cities with sellers wanting to sell their cars or bikes. Just to ensure that you're talking to genuine sellers, each and every ad posted on Quicker is verified, thus resulting in maximum genuine and verified listings.
After heading out of Bangalore, I've been driving the Fiat Aventura through the Eastern Ghats, and today I'm off to Yercaud, a destination that I believe is green and tranquil all year round, so it's perfect for a weekend escape. I've been driving this stunning Aventura. I really enjoy driving this car. I think it's beautiful to look at. It also drives really well. And of course, the hills of South India make for a magnificent backdrop. So I'm excited to head behind the wheel. There's something about the Aventura which makes me feel this sense of adventure every time I sit inside it. Maybe it's partly the orange detailing. I love the orange color of this car, and I love that the exterior carries on in the orange little interior detailing as well. The ambient lighting is also orange. I think that gives it a really funky, sporty look, which, at least for me, really works. And I also think it's nice and spacious. There's a lot of room for baggage or for co-passengers. There's also sufficient leg room. All in all, it's a great car for a road trip, and I'm excited to be heading now to Yercaud.
Yercaud is a hill station in the Eastern Ghats near Salem in Tamil Nadu, about a 6-hour drive from Bangalore or an 8-hour drive from Chennai. But if you caught the show last week, you might know that I'm at Yelagiri already, which is midway between Bangalore and Yercaud. So I should be at Yercaud in about 3 hours.
The Aventura has been a pleasure to drive. There's nothing like driving a nice car like this on an empty road lined with trees. I'm so enjoying this. And the air conditioning is extremely efficient. It's pretty humid outside, but it's nice and cool in my car. And the music sounds fantastic on the stereo system. So all in all, the features really do keep you in good stead on a long drive.
The town's name, Yercaud, is derived from the lake located at its center. In Tamil, Yeri means lake and Kadu means forest. It's a place famous for its orchards and farms, and of course for its lake.
I thought I'd make my first stop Yercaud Lake. It's also called Emerald Lake, and it's a lovely place to come by, to take a boat ride on, just to appreciate the beautiful views as well. It's surrounded by parks. So I'm just about to get on a boat myself and enjoy. Nothing like being on a boat to make you feel like you're on holiday. So I thought I'd come take a ride on the lake here, and I spoiled myself. I got a rowboat with a boatman instead of a pedal boat where I'd have to do all the hard work myself, because I thought it'll be nice to just lie back and relax.
Yercaud Lake is the only natural lake across hill stations in the south. All the rest, Ooty, Kodi, you name it, their lakes are man-made. And it's flanked by gardens, which I'm going to be visiting next.
After that little boat ride, I've come to take a stroll in Deer Park right by the lake. And as the name of the park suggests, there happen to be some deer here and peacocks. So let's see what's in store.
Now it's time to scout out the best views here.
the hallmark of most hill stations are, of course, the designated viewing points. And so I've come to Ladies' Seat, which I assume is one of the prettiest views on offer in Yercaud. It was full of people when I arrived, appreciating the natural beauty. And you see this breathtaking view here of the hills in the distance kissing the clouds, the valley below. It really is stunning. And I'm really enjoying the cool mountain air in my hair.
You've got to appreciate the morbid sense of humor in the cautionary signpost on the rock here below Ladies' Seat. Lest you get carried away by the view, Yercaud has only one hospital but 3 cemeteries.
After stopping by Ladies' Seat, I've come to the nearby Heritage Gardens to check out another viewing point. And guess what it's called? Gents' Seat. Well, I'm sure it'll have an equally magnificent view.
The forested valley below really is gorgeous, as are the silhouettes of the surrounding mountains that you can admire from Gents' Seat. And right near the viewing points is a rose garden, which is where I'm headed now.
Right near the viewing points of Ladies' Seat and Gents' Seat, the Tamil Nadu Horticultural Development Agency has a rose garden, which I've come to visit. And it's very well manicured, and you do see quite a few varieties of roses in bloom. Even though it's not peak rose season, I did manage to catch a couple of flowers blooming. And you also see other varieties of flowers like hydrangeas.
After visiting some of Yercaud's prettiest places, it's already time for me to head back home.
What a picturesque little town Yercaud is. I've had such a lovely time here, lazing on the boat on the lake, taking in the beautiful views at the viewing points, and of course walking around the parks and gardens. But it's now time for me to head back to Bangalore, and I'm excited to be getting back behind the wheel of the Fiat Aventura. It's a car that's handled the hilly terrain just as well as it handles city roads and highways, and I'm looking forward to my journey back. Thanks so much for joining us today, and do join us again next week.